Roll up one real quick. Huh?
Oh, y'all niggas got. This shit will never meet nobody. Y'all get a little audio while I'm muting everybody over here. There we go. Thank you, Trent.
Better than Dwayne? Oh, is Allen Iverson better than Dwayne Wade? Will the New England Patriots make the playoffs this year? Would you rather have Luka or Jason Tatum? We're about to find out. Let's go. Every day, all over the world, millions of people are playing, talking, or debating sports. What if there was a way we could turn the debate into a sport? A competition where two contestants battle, but only one leaves a winner. Ladies and gentlemen, From the Sideline podcast presents The Fade Room. Let's go, everybody. We got a good battle tonight. We got two basketball questions and a football question. Before we get into it, let me introduce the judges real quick. First, from the Keeping It G podcast, we got my homie Gbaby coming in real smooth. How you feeling, Gbaby?
Back from my hiatus. I know y'all saw me earlier. We back at it for round 2 of the Fade Room. Stop playing with us, man. Y'all already know what time it is.
Let's go. Then we got pass-catching phenom, future NFL star, Trent McGahee. What's up, Trent?
You know, there's still the people's champ here. You know, we still scope. You know, great battle tonight. We've been waiting for it, anticipated. So let's get it going. Let's see it.
And then we got the man with the plan, the master of disaster, the host of From the Sideline, the man himself, Troy. What's up, Troy?
I mean, I don't even see. Look at this. They just put me in the big spot. I didn't even mean to do that.
Show, baby. Let's
go.
Hey,
man, let's get it. We've been like Trent said, man. We've been waiting for this battle. So I'm excited. I get to judge this one. I haven't judged the last two. So yeah, my message to Boowop, to Godley, man, bring that spice, man. Just bring that spice.
Oh, it's going down. But before I introduce the contestants, let's just give you guys a quick review of the rules real quick. The rules of the Fade Room. You may only speak when it's your possession. Each possession has a 60-second shot clock. Each round consists of 8 minutes plus 60-second closing statements. Each player gets one chance to instantly steal back possession by saying cookies. Each player gets one chance to go no huddle for a 10-second extension by saying Omaha. Judges score every round. The winner will be announced at the end of the show. Real quick, that's a hot beat, right? That's my boy, Jamie Tennant. Shout out, Jamie. Anyway, now for the contestants. Coming out of Tampa, Florida tonight, he's a youth sports coach. He's a first-time competitor in the Fade Room. Give it up for my boy, Godley. Drop some G's in the chat. Let's go. What's up, Godley? Talk to him.
Yo, it was good. Glad y'all got me on here. It's about time we get this matchup popping in. Hey, we'll see who bombs tonight.
All right. And then returning, we got one of the juggernauts. We call him the Terminator. He's one of the co-panelists on From the Sideline. He's on the World Is Yours podcast. It's my homeboy Boowop. Talk to him, Boowop. You muted. You muted, my boy.
We finally here. No
We
ducking.
here.
No more
We
ducking. Okay. The champ is here.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into the first question. We flipped a coin, and Godley won the coin toss, and he decided he's gonna go second. So Boowop, you're gonna lead off. The first question we have is Allen Iverson better than Dwayne Wade? So Troy, you can put Boowop to the front, and let me just pull my timer up real quick. And okay. And all right, guys, your time starts now.
Is AI better than D Wade? No. And it's not to be funny, it's not even close. Like D Wade is clearly the third best shooting guard of all time. Clearly. Third year finals MVP. Top 5 greatest playoff winner of all time. Go ahead.
Passing it off. Okay.
Yeah. I hear it a lot. D-Wade is obviously third best shooting guard of all time. But how many top greats do we only look at the front half of their career? Like, if we're going to be honest here, D-Wade had an amazing peak. No one's going to deny that. Great finals run, right? Did all the great things in the first half of his career. Then you look at the back half, and it's kind of lackluster. It's not something you'd expect from the third best shooting guard of all time. Then you look at someone like AI, consistently a 20 plus points per game scorer throughout his entire career, except the last 2 years where he was being traded around through teams. So I don't think it's that cut and dry.
You don't believe it's that cut and dry. You say look at his back half of his career. Let's do that. D-Wade played, 16 years, I believe? He won 2 titles in that back half as a number 2 option, something AI could never do. Let's just be real. AI is Russell Westbrook of the 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, he's the Russell Westbrook of the 2000s. The only way you can truly put AI in a winning situation is if he's the man. And we've seen how that turned out. I think he went to the playoffs 7 times in his whole career.
Again, how many all-time greats do we look at and say, yeah, look at what they did as the number 2? Look at he's the third best shooting guard of all time, but 2 of his 3 rings he won as the second best player on the team. And that's arguable too, because there's a lot of people that'll tell you Bosh was the second best player on the team. Yeah, Wade scored more. Yeah, he was producing, but
Yeah.
You stole it?
Yeah, I stole it. Come on, let's be real. Like, you can say Chris Bosh, you can say that, but to win a title is a number 2 option, and that's still important. Let's not act like that isn't. That's like saying Kobe wasn't important to his 2 titles. D-Wade was very important to those 2 titles that LeBron won in Miami. And if we being real, they could have had 4 titles. D-Wade performed in that first finals Miami of the big 3. He was the best player on the court. So let's just not act like his back half. And I'm pretty sure he made a couple of all-star games after that. He took teams to the playoffs in his back half. Whether he was the main option or the second option, he took people to the playoffs. He was a winning player, something AI isn't.
Go ahead, back on you, Godley.
If you want to talk about taking teams to the playoffs, AI did that on what, again, is a much worse team than having LeBron next to you. AI never had a LeBron next to him. He never had a Chris Bosh next to him. Like, you're going to say Mutombo, but are we going to compare the likeness of Mutombo to Chris Bosh when he was playing? I wouldn't, me personally. So, yes, Wade had success and made postseason runs, but he did it one time as the best player on the court. And even still, people talk about that as like, they got bailed out by fouls.
We're halfway through the round.
Again, man, AI has not taken the team other than that one finals ring that everybody loves to die on. That's cool. Outside of that, he did not. You can't even pair AI with a LeBron James. Like, I mean, you could, but it's just not going to be the same thing. He's not a number 2 option. We seen what happened when him and Melo was together. That didn't work. Melo and AI did not work. You had another guy and Young in his prime that AI could have easily took a backseat to, but he refused to. He refused to take a backseat to Carmelo Anthony because he's AI. And what happened shortly later after that, after averaging 25 points per game, 2 years later, AI is out the league. I'm talking about
10 seconds. Move up.
So again, you don't want to talk about Wade's back half of his career, but you're going to talk about the last 3 years of AI's where he's averaging 25 on Denver and then gets traded twice and then is out the league, still putting up, what is it, like 17 for that one season and then like 14 for the next. And when we look at the back half of, again, we're not talking about 3 years here for Wade. We're talking about 8. The last 8 years of his career, where if you put the stats of that career next to Kemba Walker's 8 years of Kemba's career, they look so similar. The only reason you'd be able to pick out Kemba's is because he's a much better 3-point shooter.
What does that mean, though? I mean, yes, Wade was not the same player in his back half. Nobody's saying that. It doesn't matter. When you have a guy that proved himself.
Cookies?
Hey.
There's no way you're going to tell me that the back half of his career doesn't matter when you're talking about an all-time great. You have to look at the entirety of their career. You have someone like Dirk Nowitzki, who's looked at as one of the best power forwards of all time, that talks about how if he didn't play those last couple of years in Dallas, his resume would have looked much better, that he might have mirrored his whole career playing those last few years. So how's the back end of the career not going to count? When you're looking at someone like D Wade, who sure, like scored well, but no one's going to say he was the D Wade we knew and the front half of his career when he was still playing next to Bron. Like that was the whole narrative when Bron was in Miami next to Wade. He was not the same D Wade that he was in years prior. We're not going to sit here and look at AI next to Carmelo and talk about, AI couldn't get it done next to Melo when AI wasn't the same Melo, but still producing better than.
Yeah, like I was saying, man, I'm not saying you don't look at their back halves of the career. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, D Wade's back half was more successful than AI's back half. AI barely had a back half. Like, if we're being honest, the man played 13 years in the league? I believe 13 years in the league. 6 of those years, he didn't make the playoffs. So it's like, what we're talking about is a guy at his best was an offensive weapon, pound for pound, one of the greatest, but still, he was not doing what Dwayne Wade was doing. Like, he was not contributing to what D Wade was contributing to early on in his career. I would rather have a player, a more complete player. I haven't even mentioned the defense yet. Like let's not even talk about defense. It's not even a question who's better.
10 seconds, go up.
D Wade is a more complete basketball player throughout his whole career.
5, 4, 3. Only 10 seconds in the round, and then we're going to close. Yes,
no one's going to dispute D Wade as a defensive player. Like, no one. He's top in blocks or something like that for guards under 6'4". Crazy, crazy.
So, who opened? Boowop opened. So, that means Godley, you're going to give the first closing statement, and then Boowop goes next. So you get 60 seconds, and that starts now.
AI is absolutely in my mind over D Wade on all-time list. Yes, I think it's arguable. Yes, I'm not mad if you have D Wade higher than Wade, but to say it's clear-cut and there's no argument is completely asinine, to be honest. You have a player who is a scorer, did it at an elite level his entire career, and then you have someone that yeah, they got rings, but they got 2 of them as not the best player on their team, and arguably not the third best player, or arguably the third best player on their team too. So AI was always the best player on his team.
Yeah, he was always the best player on his team to never win, man. Look, D-Wade, period, to me, to most, is clearly a better player than Allen Iverson. Like, he has a higher IQ. He's a better playmaker. He's a better defender. Only thing I would say AI might be better at is slightly at scoring. And that's a wash for me. Like, AI was the number 1 option. And yes, he's going to score a lot of points, but it really didn't value. It wasn't a value 30. It was a very inefficient 30. Like, let's not do this. Like, I love AI. He's one of my favorite players of all time, but there's no way you're going to convince me that he was ever all time as good as D-Wade. Not going to do that.
10 seconds. All right, awesome. So that'll wrap up round 1. We're going to throw a poll in the chat. So chat, also shout out to chat, 22 viewers. Let's go. I need everybody to vote. So it's not necessarily which side of the argument you agree on. You can play that into part a little bit, but it's also who performed in the battle. So keep that in mind. But please, everybody vote. I'm going to give you all a second to do that. And then we're going to move right into round 2 where Godley will be going first. And we're going to move to a football question. And it's current. It's going to be, will the New England Patriots make the playoffs this year? So let's put Godley on the screen, Troy. And then your time starts now.
So opening, we're going to keep it real short. Yes, the New England Patriots are making the playoffs. There's 7 teams that make the playoffs now. And unless for whatever reason Bill Belichick's not coaching, you couldn't convince me that they have no shot at the playoffs this year.
7 reasons why they don't make the.
No, you're good.
My fault. Yeah, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Titans, the Bengals. Sound familiar? Yeah, I think those teams are going to be much better than the Patriots this year. Like, you lost J.C. Jackson. Like, that's a top 5, top 6 corner in the game. Like, who you replacing with?
Go ahead.
So, yeah, those 7 teams you could argue are better than the Patriots, but 3 of those teams are all in the same division. So that means that they all have to play each other twice, and that same division has the Broncos in it. The Broncos are probably not making the playoffs, but they're going to upset some of these teams on wins. So you have 8 wins split up in those 4 games or 4 teams within the division. So one of those teams, probably 2, more than likely, is looking at a much worse record than they would have if they were in a different division. Whereas the Patriots have the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and nobody has the Jets or the Dolphins doing anything. So it's going to be the Patriots getting, honestly, free wins against the Jets and the Dolphins. So their record's going to be more inflated than it should be.
10 seconds, Scott. Mute.
My bad. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Dolphins because that's another fringe team that could be potentially better than the Patriots this year. You're talking about a team right now that don't even know who their offensive coordinator is. Like, let's be real. The Patriots aren't the Patriots of 2018. Even then, you had Tom Brady. Your quarterback is Mac Jones. Let's be real. He's not even top 15 yet. If you could convince me that Mac Jones was top 15, I might believe you and say, yeah, with Bill Belichick and a top 15 quarterback, I'll say you get to the playoffs. Nah, not this time around. They're in trouble this year. And especially if you consider, I don't think I even mentioned what the Browns or the Colts could possibly do, or the Broncos. These are all very good, solid teams. They're going to be better than they were last year.
10 seconds. He's passing. Okay.
So, again, yeah, sure, Dolphins are fringe. But yet again, that doesn't address the fact that all of the teams in the AFC that are competing are in the same division. Like, sure, the Dolphins could steal a win off the Patriots. Sure, Mac Jones isn't top 15, but he's wasn't top 15 last year and they made the playoffs. He wasn't top 15 last year, and Bill Belichick was able to win a game with Mac Jones throwing less than how many? He had 3 passing attempts or 3 completions or something absurd, and they won a game doing that. I don't think Mac Jones needs to be a top 15 quarterback for that Bill Belichick defensive scheme to get them to the playoffs.
Mute, Boowop. There you go.
It's not about being Tom Brady level. It's simply about talent. And Bill Belichick does not have the talent. I don't even think defensively. If you can convince me defensively he had the talent that he once had, I might be a little bit more convinced. But again, this is just a tougher. Go ahead.
Hey,
okay, you say like it's not about being Tom Brady level, but you're the one that said that the Patriots aren't the Patriots old with Tom Brady. And how many times have we seen Bill Belichick make defenses that don't have all these top NFL type caliber defensive players into championship level defenses? Like, no one's going to sit here and say that Devin McCourty is some elite safety and has been his all-time safety, but he's out here hustling and working, and that Bill Belichick scheme is the reason why it works. It's not the players on the field. No one's ever argued that the players out there for the Patriots are the reason why they're getting it done. They said it was Brady and Belichick. They still have Belichick, and they made the playoffs last year without Brady. So he has a quarterback that can throw the ball. They still have Belichick with the defense. It's going to be tough to not have them in there.
Yeah, the Patriots do have defensive players. Let's not act like that. Through the years, they had some of the best defensive players. Like, we're not going to sit here and do that. Like, come on. Like, obviously, the scheme Bill Belichick puts them guys in does make them better in those schemes. But you need talent. You don't win without talent. Let's not do this. The Patriots have always had one of the best offensive lines. They always have clearly a top 10 defense every year. And you don't have those things just based off of scheme. You have those things based off of talent, which the Patriots do not have no more. They're not one of the more talented teams. And you used to can get away with that type of stuff when you had Tom Brady, which you no longer have. You cannot get away with these things no more with Mac Jones. Yes, they made the Patriots last year. Like I mentioned, they lost one of the best corners in the game. Who did they replace that with? And again, they're struggling offensively. Like, they don't have an offensive coordinator. I just don't believe in the team that don't have an offensive coordinator for one. Like, let's not do that.
You keep harping on this corner thing. That's one player. There's 11 on the defense. So again, no one is going to sit here and say because one player, one singular corner on a defensive scheme where Belichick always has one of the better secondaries in the league. I promise you, Belichick's sitting here like, I can get another corner. He does it every year. A corner goes crazy, and then they don't re-sign him. And then they find another corner, and he bigs up the very next year. You're like, who was this dude? Where was he last year? Oh, he was on another team that wasn't doing anything. Then he got in this Belichick scheme. Belichick's defenses are meant to make all of the players look phenomenal. Why do you think someone like Dante Hightower doesn't have a job this year? Still hasn't been signed. But you look at him on New England, he's a phenomenal linebacker.
Oh, my bad. No, look, again, man, it's about talent. And I'm not sitting here telling you that they won't still have the best coach in the game. Not to make it about NBA. Like, I still think Greg Popovich is a top 5 coach, but that don't mean anything if you don't have talent. You need talent to win. Like, let's just be real. You're not going to get the job done. Bill Belichick cannot keep putting teams together and thinking that my scheme works. It didn't work because clearly you had the greatest quarterback of all the time. Like, that's why things worked the way it worked. You had that. You don't have that no more. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. The quarterback position is the most important position on the field. They don't have one of those. I don't believe they have a top 10 defense this year. I don't believe that. You can't convince me that this team is going to the playoffs this year.
15 in the round.
Nobody thought that the Patriots were going to have a top 10 defense last year. Not many people thought J.C. Jackson was like that going into the year. He just had a phenomenal year. So we're not going to discredit Belichick.
It's done. Dope. Okay, so since Godley started, Godley's gonna finish. So Boowop, you'll make your closing argument first, followed by Godley. So Troy, throw Boowop on the screen, and then Boowop, your closing argument starts now.
It's like I said, man. The Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Titans, the Bengals are definitely better. And you have to worry about the Broncos, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Colts. Yes, 3 teams can go into the playoffs from a division. We've seen this before. It's not insane. So if you're banking on the Patriots being better than these 7, that's not happening. And then you have these other 4 teams. I just don't see it. Like I said, Patriots, historic team, but I'm not going to be nostalgic about everything. These guys aren't going to the playoffs this year. It's not likely at all. Like it will take a miracle for the Patriots to get to the playoffs this year.
Awesome, guys.
The notion that the Patriots offense is what's going to hold them back is kind of I don't want to call it ridiculous because again they don't have a top 15 quarterback, so it's not that crazy to say. But Belichick's a defensive head coach. Like I'd get it if they had an offensive minded head coach and they were having issues with their offense, but Belichick's always rocked out because of defense. And again, all these teams you named all have harder schedules than the Patriots too, if I'm not mistaken. So strength of schedule comes into play too. And yes, we've seen 3 teams come out of one conference or one division, but that was last year. We saw it because we had the Eagles, the Redskins, the Cowboys, the Giants. Cowboys played well last year, but no one's going to act like the other 3 teams did. And we don't have that this year out in the AFC. Yes, the Titans division is looking kind of but you named some competitors from there. So
that's it. All right, guys. That was a close second round. I'm not judging today, but I mean, so far I have it 1 round each. So I mean, for me, I got it coming down to this last round. My votes don't count anyway. But chat, let us know what you think. Make sure you vote in the poll on Twitch. Because like I said, we keep track of that. We shout it out. So yeah, shout out chat. 21 viewers, let's go. So I want to see 21 votes in there, man. All right. And good job, by the way. You guys are playing the game very well. You guys are getting cookies in. You guys are attacking each other's counterpoints. I'm loving it. So let's go. It's all going to come down to this last round. And we're going back to basketball. And the question is, would you rather have Luka Doncic or Jason Tatum on your team? Boowop, you're going to be going first this round, and then you're going to be making the last closing statement. So, Troy, go ahead, throw Boowop on the screen. And would you rather have Luka or Tatum? Boowop, your time is going to start now.
Give me Luka. It's not a huge gap between these 2 players, but when I think of who I'd rather have, I think of 2 players, and I don't know who my number 2 is, and I don't know none of that. I just know what these 2 players can do individually, and I think what Luka provides individually is more than what Jason Tatum can offer. Jason Tatum is a great scorer and a great up-and-coming young defender, but outside of that, Luka Doncic is a better player. I mean, a better scorer, better playmaker, better rebounder, and he does more with less.
I'm so glad that you don't just completely write off Tatum as this big gap between him and Luka. I'm going to just say that for starters, because there's so many people that do. I will say, though, that I don't think the scoring gap is as big as you might think it is. Like, I actually give the edge scoring to Luka. To Tatum. I'm sorry. The offensive gap to me comes in playmaking, and I think Jason Tatum's playmaking is vastly underrated. I think Jason Tatum's defense is crazy underrated. You just had someone sit here and tell me today that Jaylen Brown's a better defender than Jason Tatum. And you have things with Tatum's game where, yes, he has more talent on the court next to him, but we've seen Luka sit here and go drop a 40-point game and lose. We've seen Luka do this regularly where he's the best player on the court and he's not able to produce.
Yeah, but regardless of that that happens to a lot of great players. I've seen LeBron James just this year put up a bunch of 30 bombs and lose. So let's not act like great players can't play great and lose. It happens. The point of the matter, Luka Doncic, like I said, can do more with less. That matters to me if I'm taking a player over another player. When all else fails, can I depend on you? We've never seen Jason Tatum truly in that situation since he's been a rookie. He's been on very good teams, and not to mention, if I was Luka Doncic, I would rather have Jaylen Brown as my number 2 option more than any number 2 option that he's had. This is a guy that truly complements him, that would complement Luka in a way, the same way he's complimenting Jason Tatum right now.
3, 2.
I personally don't see how you have all these people that say Luka doesn't have any help, and then you big up Luka for saying he does more with less. Like, what is more with less? And what is, you've seen Luka do these things, but not Tatum. This is Tatum's 3rd Eastern Conference Finals in the 5 years he's been in the league. This is Luka's same first year out of the first round of the playoffs. So we can't sit here and say we've seen Luka do these things and do more with less when he's losing in the first round. Yes, again, putting up all these points. But what do the points matter if you're losing?
Cookies.
Hey.
Let's not do this. Luka Doncic has played in historically the harder conference. Let's not do this. He's played in the tougher conference. He played against the Clippers last year, took them boys to 7 games or 6 games in 2 playoff series. The man is averaging like 30 in the playoffs. Like, let's not do this. Yes, he's done more than Jason Tatum as an individual player right now. Yes. Yeah, like Jason Tatum has just arrived this year. People have been screaming Luka the last 2 or 3 years. People know who Luka Doncic has been the last 2 or 3 years. Jason Tatum is just now making his case. Let's not do this. Come on.
We're about halfway through the round, guys.
So, okay. Yes. Again, putting up points. Like, I that's the big argument for Luka. But how many players are putting up 30 bombs and losing? You know who else is doing that? Trae Young. No one's going to say Trae Young's over Jason Tatum. Luka's the only player. I'm sorry. He's not the only player that does this. LeBron also puts up big numbers and then gets told he doesn't have help and gets all these excuses for why he's not winning games. And then is talked about as this great player. Luka right now has the same effect on the league that LeBron had. People were likening Luka to LeBron in his first 4 years. Now they're doing the same thing with his teams, with all of that. Luka, yes, great player. But if you're talking about who you want, I'm taking Tatum, the player that I know is making his team better than the best individual player because he can put up a lot of points and lose games.
5, 4.
So we're gonna sit here and act like it's just Jason Tatum. That's what we're doing. We're not gonna act like Jaylen Brown. Just last year, you had people literally saying trade one of them, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. People were saying this. Like, this was a legit talk. Like I get what you're trying to do. Yes, Jason Tatum has one more, like, collectively as
Cookies.
a team.
Hey.
Thank you. You're right. Jason Tatum has one more. Just period. Not as just period. Jason Tatum has one more. Thank you very much. And yes, people were saying trade one of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. They were. And all those people that were saying it were stupid for saying it. There's those same people that are saying, oh, Devin Booker's better than Jason Tatum. Those people are stupid too because it's the same. Devin Booker's in the same boat as Luka. Puts up a bunch of points, makes a little noise in the playoffs, and people are like, oh my goodness, look at this player. Luka's made it out of the first round for the first time. You know who did that? Trae Young last year. Look where he is now. Look at the same way people are looking at him now. Trae Young and Luka, if you want to put them in the same boat, if you want to talk about defense, Omaha, if you want to talk about defense, we can do that with Trae Young and Luka. But Tatum is leagues better than both of them. And scoring wise, again, scoring is a wash to me. The only thing you're really going to nitpick is playmaking, and Tatum's defense is better.
That's it. Go ahead, boy.
So now he way better now, right? You said in the beginning wasn't no gap, but now he way better than both these guys. Like, come on, we gotta slow down, man. Listen, Jason Tatum is a very good young player, but Luka Doncic, I would rather have. We're talking about rather have. We're not talking about, because again, Jason Tatum has been on better teams. Let's not act like this. Luka Doncic has been on some very bad teams. He have not been on no teams, not one team that you could tell me that's truly been worthy of beating the Clippers. Yes, the only reason why he took the Clippers to 6 or 7 games is because he took them. No one helped him. Well, Jason Tatum does not beat Giannis without Al Horford, without Jaylen Brown. He don't beat them. Like, what are we talking about?
10 seconds, boy.
I'm glad you brought up the Clipper series and said that the reason that they went 7 is because of Luka. Because if you look at that series, Luka averaged, 30-something? He went nuts. You know who else went nuts?
10
Kawhi.
left in the round.
Kawhi also averaged 30-something. I don't think Luka outscored Kawhi and the entire Clippers team. So the difference in that had to have been Luka's help. They made it go 7, not Luka.
Sick, man. That round was awesome, bro. I'm hyped right now because that round was dope. I was expecting it to go one way, and I don't know. Chat, you guys are definitely going to need to vote on this one. I'm really interested to see what everybody thinks. And yeah, getting back to the question, right? The original question is, who would you rather have, Luka or Tatum? So you guys are about to have your closing statements. You got to convince me and the fans and the judges. Why would I rather have on my team one than the other? Like keep that in the front of your head. Why would I rather have one than the other on my team? And who went first? Boowop went first, right?
Yeah.
So Boowop went first. So Godley, you're gonna make the first closing statement, followed by Boowop. Godley, your 60 seconds starts now. This is for all the marbles.
So if we're talking about who I would rather have, it's Jason Tatum. Easy. If you're talking about who would you rather have, a point guard that can't guard his position and you have to delegate to a forward on the floor and try and hide on their defense? No, I don't want that. I'm going to take the small forward that also plays power forward and can guard the best player on the floor. We saw Jason Tatum guarding KD this year in the net series. We saw Jason Tatum on Kawhi. We see Jason Tatum this series against Jimmy Butler. Why would I take a player because they're maybe a better playmaker or maybe a better scorer, a slightly better playmaker? And why would I take that over someone that's is a liability on defense over someone that can defend, can score, can lead a team, has had more success in the playoffs, has been to 3 Eastern Conference Finals in the last 5 years of their career? Like, why would I want Luka on my team is a better question.
Nah, it's not a better question. The reality is we know Luka Doncic has not had a great cast around him to truly judge him in a truly high level winning. You have to be able to tell me that a guy has a true chance of winning a title or something. What were we expecting of Luka other than what he, and you can't even tell me you expected him to go out here and do what he did. Like, he played phenomenal against great defenses. Like, you that has to be considered, like, when we're talking about what can a player do for you versus Jason Tatum's being put in very good situations, being able, a young player, to grow into this player. Luka had to do this on the fly. Day one, had to be this guy. That matters. We cannot act like that don't matter. Like, let's be real.
10 seconds.
Luka Doncic being a better playmaker guarantees me that he will make others around him better. Jason Tatum don't.
Hey, let's go. Yo, chat. Let me see. Come on, chat. Let's go. Drop who you think won overall. Drop who you think won the round. Troy's about to throw the poll up and see who won the round. Let us know, man. Give it to us all. Like, what your scores were for the round, what you thought. Let us know. In the meantime, while the judges are sending me their tallies, let's go to them and see what they thought. First, we'll go to Gbaby. Gbaby, any comments on anything specific they said or how the battle went? Whatever you want to say, bro.
Can we get a round 4? Can we get a first time ever round 4? Just off the top, I love it. By far, no questions asked. the best battle we've had in the history of the Fade Room. I loved it. I was lit. Shout out to the chat, interacting with. I was lit the whole time. So hey, by far best battle we've seen.
Let's go. Okay, Trent, let's get Trent up here. Trent, any comments, anything you want to say about any of their points or how the battle went? Whatever, the floor is yours.
Hey, I thought me and Gbaby, we started off crazy. Yo, bro, this is the best one we've seen, bro. Came with energy, all cookies, like entertaining, like bro, facts was bro. Top tier for sure.
Let's go. Maybe we gotta.
Yeah.
We might have to design one with just 2 or 4 rounds. That way we can have opportunity for overtime. Because I'd be hyped for overtime right now. Is what I'm saying, dog. All right, now let's bring up Troy. Come on, Troy. What you got for us?
Excuse me. I'm gonna say that was tight. That was real tight. Godley, he did an amazing job. Boowop, man, amazing job. Yeah. I'm gonna send my tally over, but I just want to tell you guys that was awesome. I enjoyed it. I was glad to be a part of it, and yeah.
Hey, and I also want to say, awesome use of the cookies, and we had an Omaha as well. You guys played the game very well. Let me just take a look at these votes real quick. All right. So far, I only got. Let's see. 1, 2, 1. I'm just waiting for the judges to send me their tallies. So, how you guys feeling? You guys happy with your performance?
I'm always good, man.
Yeah, I thought it went well. I thought, I'd be here for round 4. That was fun. I don't get very many challenges in debates. So,
all right, the results are in. So we have one judge giving the edge in favor of Godley 2-1. We have another judge giving the result in favor of Boowop 2-1. And it all comes down to the third judge. And the third judge also had it 2-1. And coming out with the victory on his debut, it's Godley. What's up, Godley? Talk to him.
It was an uphill battle. Tatum and Luka. I'm glad Boowop doesn't think they're that far off, because it would have been much harder if he didn't think it was close. Glad y'all could bring me up here. Glad I didn't come up here and bomb. That was my whole goal. Just didn't want to drop the ball up here. Have my wife take the baby out the room. We just getting it cracking.
That was awesome, bro. You had an awesome performance. Thanks for being on the show. Hey, Boowop, what'd you think, man? Talk to him.
Hey, the votes are in. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like I won every round. Honestly, like that's me personally.
That's how you
Me personally, I just feel like I didn't hit no counters really, other than the normal counters. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, you know this rematch is about to be fire, right? This rematch is about to be fire. Hey, Troy, what did the poll say?
The poll said Godley won 2-1.
Which round? You want to tell
Second and third round.
So the chat has Godley winning round 2 and round 3, and they had Boowop winning round 1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us, guys. So on behalf of Trent, Troy, Gbaby, myself, we're giving away this Joe Burrow. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe, all that. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your mom. Thank you, Godley. Thank you, Boowop, and we're out.